to the Lit Chicks podcast. This is Shannon Reber, and I'm Susan Landrigan. Mary Ellen is on vacation. We are at the Landrigan dining room, but we're using Innovation Studio equipment here in Westfield, New York.
They very nicely loaned us their stuff.
And today we're going to talk about genres. There's all different kinds of genres. Not the bookstore today.
Not the bookstore, yeah.
But the different genres that there are.
Exactly.
And what we like to read.
Precisely. So you're a thriller reader, right?
Yes.
Okay, but you're also nonfiction.
Yes.
Nonfiction and thrillers.
Either or.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I've been pretty much all fantasy all the time for a long time, but recently a couple of people recommended some thrillers, and I went, okay, that sounds interesting. And the author is Frida McFadden, and I started listening to these books, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is interesting. And then I was like, okay, I know who the killer is. Yep, I got this. This is fine. It was not who I expected. I've listened to 3 of her books now, and every single time she's fooled me, and that never happens to me.
That's a good book.
That's a good book. Yes, exactly.
I like a mystery, but I like it to have a little action in it.
Yes.
Which Dan Brown's books are mystery with a lot of action in there. And they're so exciting. I like them.
It's been a long time since I read one of his. Very long time, actually. But the Angels and Demons and the Da Vinci Code are the 2 that I listen to. And I don't know, I just haven't gone back to him. So you've convinced me to go back to Dan Brown.
I found one at your bookstore that I've read recently.
Okay.
And it was Deception Point.
Oh.
Yeah, that was good.
Okay.
And I thought, oh, it's Dan Brown. It's got to be good. And it was.
Excellent. Okay, so you are not a horror type reader, but with thrillers there are some horror elements sometimes.
Yes.
Like, yeah. But like you prefer things that are integrated in, correct? Like romance you're okay with so long as it's part of the story rather than just the story?
Right. I don't care to read a romance story, but if there is some romance in the mystery,
yes,
like the 2 characters get together at the end.
Exactly. Yes.
I don't mind that. It's part of the story.
Exactly. One of my favorites, which I can't even remember the book, but it was, I believe it was a thriller from forever ago, and the romance was kind of, I was like, okay, yeah, whatever. All right, let's move on now, folks. Turns out the bad guy was the guy in the relationship. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even get that. That's amazing. But I don't remember what book it was.
So the woman was attracted to
the bad guy without even realizing. Yes.
Oh.
She had no clue.
Now that would interest me. Yeah.
Exactly. Here I was thinking it was just this kind of stupid romance. I was like, oh, all right, whatever. I'll listen to the end. And then he was the bad guy. I was like, oh my gosh, he's gonna kill her. But yeah, I like those. I like the surprise. And it's rare for books to surprise me. I like I said, I've been all fantasy all the time, but I started listening to some sci-fi recently, and I found that I actually really like it. Brandon Sanderson, his shoot. I don't remember the name of the series, but Brandon Sanderson, he got me into it, and now one of my favorite narrators, she's one of my narrators. She did a young adult sci-fi, and I was like, okay, now she keeps telling me about this. She loves sci-fi, and I'm okay with listening to this. It's awesome. It's so good. So like it's really all in the story.
There is some sci-fi that I don't mind, like movies. I don't really care for sci-fi movies because they're
Okay.
so dark. And they're in these spaceships that are so dark. And the monsters are lurking in the dark. And I don't know, darkness puts me to sleep.
Oh, okay.
But
okay.
maybe in a book, it might be better.
Yeah.
Like, I did get into Star Wars a bit.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's not so dark.
It-
They're
that's true.
outside.
They're
They're
outside,
in the sunshine.
That's pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing that I really like is the way that a story is told. So if there was a nonfiction book that had a story in it, I would actually probably read a nonfiction book. And nonfiction has never been my thing. I don't like facts just, squirted out at me. I just don't like it. It's not my thing. But I like stories. So however the writer tells the story, if it's told well, I'll listen to anything. But the narrator helps too.
Yes.
Yeah.
You need a good narrator.
You need a good narrator.
I like memoirs
Okay.
because I like to know that, especially famous people,
Right.
that it was a struggle to get where they are. It didn't just, boom, I'm famous. Look at me. It was a struggle.
Okay.
And everybody has struggles, and it makes you feel more human to know that all these other people have had struggles just like you have.
That's a good point. Yeah. Interesting. Well, you read the Prince Harry book, right?
Yes.
Okay. So that one, see that I'm not sure I could get into that just because I don't care. Like it doesn't affect me one way or the other.
Right.
But you said that was actually really good, and it opened your eyes as to how difficult.
Being a royal really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I can't say if I would read it or not. I would have to try it. Yeah. I don't think I'll look up a lot of nonfiction though. I'll let you do that.
The one I really enjoyed is there was one that I got from your bookstore. It was about Chip and Joanna Gaines
Oh, okay.
from the HGTV show.
I don't remember the name of the show.
I don't remember the name of the show either, but I've watched them quite often, and they really struggled a lot before they made it.
Right,
Before they
right.
made it big.
Yeah.
And it's kind of nice to hear that.
That it didn't just fall into their laps.
Right, that
Yeah.
it didn't just fall into their laps.
That's amazing. That's really cool.
A lot of work goes into being an overnight success.
The Peanut Gallery has spoken. Congratulations, you're part of the show.
That was our wonderful producer
Our fearless producer. Well done, sir.
and technical advisor.
The guy who makes the magic happen. Well, let's see. Let's see. What other genres was it? Oh, historical fiction. I have found occasionally that historical fiction or even steampunk. Steampunk is fantastic because it does take elements of history and it turns it into a fantasy story, and I love that.
I didn't even know that was a genre.
It's amazing.
How about that?
You should
Maybe
totally
I'll have to try it.
You should. You might like it. But I actually learned. I'm a little bit oblivious sometimes, but I learned that the Crimean War actually happened. I thought it was fiction. I learned that happened through a steampunk book.
Oh.
And I looked it up just because I was curious, and I was like, oh, wow, I'm oblivious.
I like historical fiction.
It's good.
I've read some, and it's interesting
Yeah, exactly.
to know the way that they lived. I mean,
Yes.
things that happened might not have been exactly the way they happened, but
It has
because
to
it's
be,
made
yeah.
up.
Exactly.
But you get a feel for the age and what happened
Right,
during
exactly.
that time.
Have you ever, I'm guessing you've never read the Diana Gabaldon series Outlander?
No.
Okay, that is Scotland in, I believe, the 16 or 1700s. I'm not 100% sure of the years. 1700s. And it's actually really interesting. it goes, in my opinion, it goes too much into the romance. I would have been happier if it was more, adventure than them being in bed again and again and again and again and again. I'm like, guys, there's more to life than bed.
Than that.
But I mean, but it was just like I really enjoyed, like, her details were spectacular. Actually learning about the Scottish countryside and what it looked like and what it looked like back then. It was believable.
I think I have one of the books here.
Okay.
And when I go on a trip, I keep picking it up and looking at it and thinking, the words are so small and the book is so big, and I'm not sure I want to. What if I don't like it?
This is why audiobooks are great. Try an audiobook. The narrator makes it all come to life. There you go. But you're not an audiobook person at all, are you?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm afraid I would not pay attention.
Oh,
like I would be doing something else, and it's like, oh, what just happened?
Well, sometimes if you get the right narrator and the right story, it doesn't matter what you're doing. You catch it anyways, and it just depends. But I mean, it's also you're used to reading, so you can go back and look at what the previous sentence was, and it all works for you.
Yep.
It doesn't really work that way for me.
And if I fall asleep while I'm reading a book, it's right where I left it.
Okay, I have to ask, are you a spine breaker for your paperbacks?
I think so. I like them.
Dear. Oh dear.
I like to be able to get
That's
it.
sacrilege in my world. Oh! It is funny because I will have donations come into the shop occasionally, and it looks like the books have never been opened. And they're just these in perfect condition, and there's not a single scuff, not a single like page that looks like it's been turned, and it's this amazing copy of a book. And they're like, oh yeah, I read that several times, it's so good. It's like, how do you do that? They're not like you, I guess.
I guess, yeah, they must be well, then your hands get cramped from holding
I would think,
it.
yes.
Yeah. So, I'm not a fan of romance books. Like, if a book is completely about romance,
Yes.
I don't really want to read it.
Same.
Because, and I think I figured out why.
Okay.
Because many people like it.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm happy with my relationship with my husband.
Oh.
We've been married for 42 years. And I don't want to feel like there's something that I missed out on.
Oh.
When people had the big engagement part,
Right.
the big engagement things, the
Right.
public things, that was a few years ago. I haven't
Okay.
seen anything recently. But it was like, oh, I never had that. But did I miss out? No. I'm fine.
You're fine with
Yeah,
how you
and
are.
I don't want to feel
love
like
that.
I missed out on something. So
I love that. That's very nice. Well done, producer. You did a very good job in the husbandly thing too. There you go.
So we should think about our word for the day.
I think we should. So what's our word for the day?
Our word for the day today is zhuzh.
I love it.
To zhuzh is to improve something's flavor or appearance by the way of small adjustments or additions.
Ooh.
So when we write a book,
We're zhuzhing. The editing is
you
zhuzhing.
write, yeah, that's what editing is. It's zhuzhing.
I have to go to the shop today and do some more zhuzhing. So, I mean, thank you for the word of the day. That's perfect.
And today, like on days that we film, I don't look like this every day. I zhuzhed myself up a little bit today.
And you did a very nice job. Well done. Well, it has been lovely. Thank you for having us in your Landrigan studios, and it's been great.
Yeah. So we thank you for joining us today, and we're always looking for feedback. If you have anything you want to say or ask us about or something you want us to cover that we haven't covered yet.
Yes, that would be a
So-
good thing.
Thank you, and we'll see you next week with Mary Ellen.
Yay!